Hey, what's up guys? This is Guy here with KBTrainings. Today we're going to do some lab on VTP. This is not a course. This is just me showing you some lab that I'm doing on the VTP. I already did this, but I'm doing this for you to shoot it and put it out there. So if you like this, if you want to encourage me, please like the video and also subscribe to this channel if you are on YouTube. But these videos are available on kbtrainings.com/ENCOR. This is for the ENCOR exam, the 350-401. So if you are interested, head on there and take a look at what I have. So as I said, I'm not teaching this here, but I'm just doing labs. But if you want to know exactly what I'm talking about, if you have no idea or if you want to know more, you should go on cisco.com. So I'm going to provide links with this video on kbtrainings.com. So if you are on a page, on the lesson page, go down there, you're going to see some links where you can read a lot of things that you have to know, because that's the best way for you to know this, is to read what Cisco is writing about a certain technology. So today we're talking about VTP, which is VLAN trunking protocol. And what is it? It's just a protocol, a message protocol that helps you configure VLANs in your topology. So you are a network engineer or you are a network admin and you have, let's say, 50 switches that you want to configure and you want to push a ton of VLANs on those switches. You don't have to go one by one or manually on every switch to configure the VLANs. VTP can help you have a server and push everything from that server to all the other switches that you have in your topology. So that's how helpful VTP is. And we have three main modes in VTP. The first mode is the server mode, which I just mentioned. With the server, that's the device on which you are allowed to make changes to the VLAN database. So the VLAN database will be copied, will be sent. If there is a change on the VLAN database, the server will send all those changes to the VTP, to the other switches in the topology. And talking about other switches, the second mode is the client mode. The client mode cannot, a client switch in the VTP domain cannot create VLANs. It can just make changes to the VLAN database depending on the changes or the messages that it's receiving from the server. We also have the transparent mode. Transparent mode doesn't care about the messages. It just receives the messages and forward the messages to other clients or servers that are connected to it. We're going to see that later on. And there's also another mode, which is actually the no mode, which is just the off mode that you can do to turn up VTP on a device. We also have different versions of VTP. We have three versions of VTP. The first and the second version are usually, they usually work together. It's mostly if you use a token ring topology, but you can also use it for an IP. But for now, token ring doesn't support VTP version 3. So if you are on Ethernet, I meant to say Ethernet, not IP. On the Ethernet network, you can still use the version 1, 2, or 3, but it's better to use the 3 because it's the latest one with a lot of improvement, among which you can advertise VLANs above 1006, 1007 up to 4094, and you have more security. You don't risk to lose your topology if you add a new device, because you have to designate what is the primary server on your topology specifically before doing anything. You also need to read about Vtp pruning. It means basically that a switch can tell its neighbor that it doesn't need any broadcast or any unknown packet from a VLAN that it doesn't have access port for. So that's what we're going to do here. Let's go in our GNS3 and build a lab. So in our lab, we're going to have 5 switches. 5 switches. 2 of them will be, one of them, the switch 1 will be the server. Switch 2 will be a client. Switch 3 will be a client as well. So I'm going to test pruning here. So switch 4 is going to be transparent and switch 5 is going to be a client. So it will just show us that switch 5 is still going to receive the update from switch 1, even though it's behind a transparent switch. So let's go ahead quickly and put all the cables and configure the switches. What I usually do is that I take this quick configuration here. This is what I pass in a switch. It just gives it a host name. It goes under the line console and do logging synchronous to avoid being disturbed by the commands, by the output. And I go under all the ports. I configure .1q, and I also configure them as dynamic desirable so that all the links between switches will be trunk. So we have our switches up. If we do show Vtp status, you can see that we are running the version 1 of Vtp, and we can do 1, 2, 3. And this is a server. Actually, by default, all the switches are servers when they boot up. And also, you need to look, you need to check this MD5 digest here. It should be the same in all the switches if they are under the same config. If they have the same configuration revision and they are belonging to the same domain. If we come here, show Vtp status, you can see that the hash is the same. So right now they belong to the same Vtp domain, which has no name. We're going to do it now. Even if we look at the 5, which is here, because the 5 is going to be transparent. That's I don't have to go there. Let's just go back to 1. Let's give our Vtp domain a name. So it's going to be Vtp domain. Let me call it KBTrainings. Nope. KBTrainings. That's our domain. And if we go on switch 2, you can notice that if we do the same command, KBTrainings is here already. If we go on to switch 3, on the switch, no, show Vtp status. On the switch 3, it doesn't have it already. I noticed that if you do that for the first time, it's going to stop at the switch 2. I need to do some changes on the config or the database, the VLAN database on switch 1, so you can see the changes being propagated on all the other switches. So for changes, I'm going to create a VLAN 2. Right now we don't have any other VLAN besides VLAN 1 and the default VLAN. So okay, so if we do show VLAN, what happened? Writing for I don't know what this is. Let me just press this button. What? It's rebooting. Okay, this is GNS3. Show VLAN. Yeah, it's actually sent the VLAN 2 here, but then restarted the thing. Okay, let's wait for it to come up. But yeah, let's just wait for it to come up. Okay, the switch 1 is up. Let's see if we lost anything. Show interface status. Yeah, it's so low. I don't know why. So 0/0 is a trunk, and yeah, why is it so slow? Let me check the VLANs. Okay, let me check the Vtp. Okay, this is the digest. Let's check on here. Yeah, the digest is the same, so we didn't lose anything. So what I want to do here is configure the password for this and also upgrade it or push it to the version 3. So conf t vtp vtp password. Let me say KBTrainings. in lowercase, and then VTP version 3. It's already a server, so we don't have to change the mode. If I come over here, right now, because I put the password on switch 1, if I create like the VLAN 5, okay, this is one of the things with the version 3. As I told you at the beginning, you have to specify that this is the primary. So we need to do VTP primary, and then it's going to check in the network to see if there's any other primary, if there's any conflict or anything. And if everything comes back okay, it's going to be to become the thing. Okay, right, so there's no conflict, and this is now the server. So I can then do this and create the VLAN 5. We now have VLAN, I don't know why I did 5, I should have gone with 3 and 4. Okay, we have now the VLAN 5, but if you come here and we do show VLAN, we don't have 5 because it doesn't have the password, and it has a different version of VLAN, of VTP. So we have to do VTP password KBTrainings. Let's see if the password itself would make it get the update. Do show VLAN. Nope. Let me create a VLAN 6 here. Nope. All right, so that's because I have to also upgrade the VTP version to 3. Okay, so now if I do show VLAN, yep, we have 5 and 6. So I'm going to do the same on the switch 3. Oh, actually, these need to be clients, so I need to configure switch 2 to be a client as well. VTP version 3. Oops, what's wrong? All right, so VTP version 3. Switch 4 is going to be, let me put this as a client first. VTP mode clients. So switch 4 VTP password KBTrainings, VTP version 3, VTP mode transparent, switch 5, VTP mode clients. Okay, if I go on switch 5, let me see what I have. Okay, I have this digest ending in A8. And it's the same digest that I have here. So switch 5 has everything from switch 1, and of course I have the VLANs. I'm pretty sure I have all the VLANs here because yeah, I have 2, 5, and 6 because it was a client at some point. So now that it's transparent, you can take a look here. Oh no. Show VTP status. Now it is transparent, so it won't take anything. If I add the VLAN 3 on here, you can see that switch 4 will not have that VLAN because it's transparent. So there's no 3. And if you go on switch 5, which is behind switch 4, it's going to have the VLAN 3. Yep, switch 5 has the VLAN 3 on it. That's it. That's pretty much everything. You can play around with it a lot. I did at some point in the past, so it's always good to master it. So what I'm going to test now is Vtp pruning, VLAN pruning. So if we do show Vtp status on the switch 2, you can see that VLAN pruning mode is disabled. So it's also the same on the switch 3. So let's say I have the what are the VLANs that we have? VLAN 3. Okay, let's say I have an interface for VLAN 3 here. I check one interface, just 0/1, and I do switch port access VLAN 3, and I go on switch 2 and grab one interface, 1/1, and do switch port access VLAN 3. And on here I'm going to do Vtp pruning. Yeah, it's turned on all the ports if I do this. And if I come on here with the version 3, you can activate Vtp pruning at the port level or at the global level. If I come on switch 3 and do Vtp pruning, you're going to notice this. If we come on here and do show interface gig 0/1 pruning, we can see that these VLANs are pruned because switch 3 doesn't have any port or any access port inside these VLANs. That's why they are pruned. If there's a broadcast or unknown unicast for the VLAN, for these VLANs, they will not get to the switch 3. If we go, for example, and add, you can see right now 3 is being pruned. Let's add an interface gig 1/1 to the VLAN 3. And if you come back here, maybe let's wait. Let me add a client actually. Oops. Let me just add a client on the VLAN 3. I'm also going to add a client on VLAN 3 on the switch 1. (0/1) 0/0. Let me give them IPs. 3. Let me give the IP to this. 1. Oh, did I say 3? 3, that was French. Let's see if there is a change. Yep. Yeah, just by, I mean, maybe it was waiting for spanning tree or whatever, but now 3 is not listed here as pruned because there's a client in it. And all right, so that's it, guys, and thank you for watching this. Again, if you like this, please like the video, and if you're watching this on KBTrainings, that's good. If you are on YouTube, go on kbtrainings.com/encore. That's where I put all the videos for the ENCOR exam. And I'm also going to create a forum. I'm planning on creating a forum for all of us to share and you know, just dialogue and ask questions. It's going to be like a Stack Overflow for the ENCOR exam. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Guy, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace, or maybe just bye.